be like maybe it's just really, I guess, low key right now, and then there's just going to be something abrupt, and so people need to start preparing now?
Well, they slowly been doing it low key over the last couple of years. I'll give you a perfect example. Remember back in the day, people would come around and check your meter. They use radio frequency signals now. They don't have people check water meters or your electric meters. That's automated. When you fly now, they're slowly forcing you to go to the kiosk to check in your own bags. It used to be behind the scenes, and now with the apps, they'll tell you, hey, you have to use the app to order something. In Sam's, if you buy under $750, I think it's still this amount, you don't have to go to the cashier. You can purchase it through the app. You see now how it was undercover and it's slowly, gradually building itself to the surface.
You're right, and we do adapt because I used to be so resistant to self-checkout, especially at like grocery stores and different places like that. But now I love it.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, nobody has to touch what I'm buying, and I can do all of this myself. I can bag it the way I want it. So you're right.
Your GPS on your phone, it's been artificial intelligence. Your email,
We're constantly being tracked.
you're constantly being tracked. And those are minor examples. I'm not going to say minor, but those are examples of AI already in your face. We just didn't know what to call it.
Yeah, we weren't calling it AI, and we definitely weren't calling it a takeover. And what about the plants? I mean, what about auto workers? There's a big strike going on right now, and they're reaching some
Detroit,
deals,
according to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Detroit, Michigan is one of the top 10 places to be affected by automation and artificial intelligence.
Because of the auto industry?
Yes, they use what they call advanced manufacturing. You can research this in Kentucky and Tennessee. They've been using advanced manufacturing for the last close to 10 years. I discovered that in my research. So the workers that have been striking, I saw recently where Ford and some of the union were able to reach a deal, not a strike. And some of those workers don't realize they sealed their fate because now companies will not be held hostage by people requesting higher wages. In my research, I talk about that is a catalyst for a company to automate. So when people want a higher wage, you'll start to see kiosks pop up. Before people pay people $20 an hour, they'll say, we'll invest $2 million and automate the whole process or put kiosks everywhere. It's all about return on investment. And that way you don't have to worry about people not showing up. You don't have to worry about paying workers' comp. And the machine, eventually, they're going to get priced low. And if you think about, lastly, remember when flat screen TVs came out, how expensive they were? This is how this industry is going to go. It's going to be to where anyone can afford it. And that technology is going to be implemented in more and more places you never thought possible.
Wow. Well, you have just enlightened me. That's an earful. So this is your passion, going around to teach about this, because people are finally listening to you. How does that feel after so many years of people saying, I don't want to hear about that?
It feels great because I like to help people. And when I go talk to people, the first thing I let them know, I know you're anxious, I know you're nervous, but there's time to retrain and prepare. There are going to be industries to train people on how to talk with people, how to deal with people. There are going to be industries on just how do I coexist with this technology? And the industries to retrain people to go back to work. For baby boomers, there are going to be classes on how do I use Microsoft Office even better because you have to use your email, et cetera. So I like going around giving people hope. And there is hope. There is so much uncertainty right now to where there's going to be wealth created from this. And I'm not even lying about that. You know, you have companies like Nvidia. They were given, I think it was $1 trillion valuation last time I checked. They make chips. And Nvidia, that's how you say it. And they were given a valuation because they're in with AI and they're putting artificial intelligence to chips. Microsoft even said by the end of the year, they were going to put it in some of the computers.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I hope I can benefit from some of that. Well, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Dr. Michele Show. So, Patrick, I was asking you behind the scenes about the casinos. It seems that the AI wouldn't be able to replace like dealers. And I mean, so we already have slot machines that are kind of doing their own thing. Either you're winning or you're not. But you mentioned that robots will act as security.
Yes. Just think about it. You have people walking around in a facility. We could use biometrics and facial recognition. We could just sit the robot, let's say right here. We don't have to have people walking around paying them and risk them getting into a fight, getting injured. We just set a camera here and it scans everybody's face. And how you legally, I'm not a lawyer, but I would think this is how they would do it. Once you walk in, you're forfeiting your right to be on camera. You know that unlawful searches and seizures, the Fourth Amendment. So if you walk in, they can automatically get your face. And if you steal something, you got to go by these cameras. They already got your face coming in.
So just by walking in, you are relinquishing your rights. You're there.
There was a lawsuits already going on with Ring Camera and Alexis. You could Google this for the people watching this. Unlawful searches and seizures on the Ring cameras and Alexa, because it is actually violating that. One of the things people do not like is the Ring camera getting your data without your permission. It's just like when you go on a campus to a school, there are signs that say you have waived your right to be searched. So that means anytime you're like on property of a school, they can search you. You've given up that right. Same thing with biometrics. And in China, they already use biometrics. They're already getting people's faces and reporting it to Interpol. So many people that are on the run, those days are going to come to an end.
Do you believe that our youth are being prepared for this? Because this is the time to prepare rather than waiting until you're adults, well into your role and saying, go back for more training.
No, they're not. I've been an adjunct professor for about 10 years. We are not preparing our youth. Many of these kids are being prepared to be test takers. There is no book to life. You cannot quiz yourself out of problems in life.
Yeah.
There are problems in life that are going to happen that there is no preparation for. And with the curriculums in college and K through 12, they must be updated. We are doing a disservice to these kids. We're preparing them for careers that are already going to be obsolete. There are kids now in school, when they graduate 3 to 4 years from now, their degree won't be needed because they're not in the right field. So your child must be going to school for a blue collar career or a white collar career or something legal or something medical if they want to have a fighting chance in the future we're about to go into.
So what's something that they're going into now, that youth are going into now that's not going to be needed?
You have a lot of them going into the arts. They're using artificial intelligence. They already have AI that draws paintings. We are teaching kids, like with communication backgrounds, people know how to communicate. But if you're not going to go deep into it to say, hey, we need to teach people how to communicate better, it's really going into a field wasting money. Now, if you're going to go to school for sociology and psychology, you need to be a licensed psychologist. What people do, they'll stop at a graduate degree. You have to either go to med school or you have to do the research. And if people are going to take those careers on, you're going to have to be a licensed medical worker and go full licensed social worker and go all the way into it and just say, look, I wanted to choose something just to get out of school. No, this is going to have to be your career. You're going to have to really invest in yourself. I don't have anything against sports, but we have to remember many of these kids are not going to make it pro. What is going to be their backup plan. Backup plan. We have to allow kids and must tell them you must go to school for something that will give you an opportunity in life.
If you only focus, I'm all for kids focusing on dreams and pursuing that career, but you're right, you do need a backup plan, especially if the career is something in the world of celebrity, I guess.
Yeah, and you don't have to get into exorbitant amounts of debt. There are some schools already starting now. I read the list the other day. I can't remember which schools it were. They're doing away with student loans and they're trying to work towards grants and scholarships. It's outrageous for kids to go to school now. That's deterring them. You have some kids $100,000 in debt.
It's always been outrageous, though.
It is, and so kids are looking at, maybe I should go be a YouTube star. Maybe I should go on TikTok.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just say.
It's working for some.
Yeah, but we have to be realistic with people. So many people are doing it to where it's going to be oversaturated. So that's why it's important to sit down with your kids when they're young, not when they're about to graduate high school, and say, what do you want to do with your life when they're younger? You must do this and go to the military. Do you want to go use your GI Bill to go to school? There are so many ways to avoid getting exuberant amounts of debt going to school. Loans, Pell Grants, the military. You're serving your country and you're able to use your GI Bill and use grants and scholarships. But when there is a way, there's hope for you.
Well, you're clearly passionate about educating people on all of this, and people are finally listening to you. What support do you need from people right now?
I need people to be open-minded and listen. I have a book that's coming out next year. The title of it is The 7 Common Sense Steps to Artificial Intelligence and Automation. And I need people to be open-minded to say, hey, this is happening. Don't have blinders on and say, this isn't coming. This is already here. You're going to need money to survive, but to make money, you're going to have to have a skill set, and you must be open-minded to training and doing other things to make sure that you have a way to live, legal things. So, yeah.
Right, because people do find a way to live, okay?
Yeah.
So, Dr. Patrick, how can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram, KingofAutomation_AI. I'm on TikTok at Dr. Patrick Dix, on LinkedIn, Dr. Patrick Dix, and my website, thedixconsultinggroup.com.
Well, you're easy to find. I want to thank you for flying in to be with us today. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Thank you for watching. It's not about being smart enough to get it done. It's about being passionate enough to get started. Improve your mental health, improve your life. See you next week.